What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Welcome back to the channel. Shout out to my man Barbershop Conversations because I just got done listening to an excellent interview that he did on his page. I will link the video in the description box. It says breaking news: Shaefer says Eddie Hearn has failed as a promoter. He overplayed his hand. But that's not what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about something that was said right about the 11-minute mark of that video by Richard Shaefer, who is the owner of, or the CEO of Ringstar, and is a major promoter in the United States of America and Europe, about the Deontay Wilder pay-per-view numbers and revenue in the UK. Asked by Barbershop Conversations, shout out to Barbershop Conversations. He asked, this is one of the lovely things, man, when you can actually talk to somebody who is a legitimate promoter, who doesn't talk out the side of his neck, has a track record for putting on some of the biggest fights that have happened. Richard Shaefer, when Barbershop Conversations asked him, did you hear about the reports that Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder did 227,000 or 267,000 pay-per-views in the UK? And the answer to Richard Shaefer was yes, I heard those reports. Yes, I heard those reports. Now, what is the chance that Richard Shaefer is subscribed to my channel? A small YouTube channel. Do you think that Richard Shaefer got that number from me? No. He got it from a reputable source. I cannot tell you who the source is, but I can tell you because I didn't ask Richard Shaefer. But I can damn sure can quote Richard Shaefer. So instead of going to Barb and just looking at the revenue for a fight that was on BT, because people want to say, oh, that's not the Wilder fight. Even the Wilder Fury fight, even though we know that that Sky Sports does not report their numbers to Barb. Again, Sky Sports does not report, Sky Sports or Sky Box Office does not report their numbers to Barb. Barb still has a number up there for that fight, and everybody's okay with it. But what Richard Shaefer said is, yes, I heard the reports of 200,000+ pay-per-views, but then he went even further than I went. Because when I did my video, and I put my video on unlisted because I was going to wait around before I republish it for somebody else to come to the report. Because, when it's somebody like me that says something, I understand why you don't believe it, because you don't want to believe it. But if it is Eddie Hearn that says it, you are more than happy to run down the street with it. So I waited until, and thank you, Barbershop Conversations, for putting this interview on and not making it take much more than 5 hours for somebody else to come out and say it. But what Richard Shaefer said was that this was the biggest fight this is a bigger fight than any of the fights that Anthony Joshua has ever had. That's what Richard Shaefer said. Richard Shaefer, who does business with the PBC, Richard Shaefer, who is a co-owner of the World Boxing Super Series, Richard Shaefer, who is an established promoter in the United States and in the UK, said that Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury did a bigger revenue than any fight in the heavyweight division in years, and bigger than any fight that Anthony Joshua had ever had. Now, when I did my video, I said, based on what my man Stinger said, and I rode with Stinger, and I went and looked over there at Barb. For you people that want to act like you understand, like sending me fake email, sending me fake letters from Barb as if I believe that you actually talked to him within 5 minutes of you leaving your video. Richard Shaefer said, again, he said the fight was bigger than what I thought it was. I said $50 million in revenue means there's no A side. Anthony Joshua, the reported revenue for Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko was $53 million. $53 million. If Richard Shaefer is correct, this fight did more than $53 million. Now, when I did my video and I said what numbers that I think, I said, look, and by the way, he also said that the fight for Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury drew the second biggest gate in the history of the Staples Center, which is more than I gave him credit for. So if it is far more than $53 million in revenue, and you have 325,000 pay-per-views, right? 325,000 pay-per-views, which means you have 24,375,000 dollars in a pay-per-view that was reported from the United States. And you have 727,000, let's just say 727,000 pay-per-view buys in the UK at $25. That's 175,000. That is $42 million in revenue from the gates, plus a $10 million gate, which is what I said it was. I think I said $8 million in my video. At 17,000, was it 17,000? 18,000 people times 390 is $70,000. It's $7 million, $7,020,000. Okay, 7,020,000. 7 plus 2 is 49. That's less than what Richard Shaefer says were the numbers for Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. And by the way, Richard Shaefer is not a promoter in that event. Richard Shaefer is not a promoter in that event. Now, please go back and call Richard Shaefer a liar and say Richard Shaefer has some reason to make up numbers that I gave to you yesterday, which came from a guy in the UK who also has been getting reports about what the viewership numbers were in the UK. Okay? Argue with that. But like I said in my video, because I am rubbing this in the face of you people that are on my nerves about Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Richard Shaefer said that this is the biggest heavyweight fight revenue-wise in a long time and generated more revenue than any of Anthony Joshua's fights. Anthony Joshua's biggest pay-per-view event was Vladimir Klitschko, and according to the UK reports, the only reports that you can really get if you're not actually working for the promoters themselves, said it was $53 million. So if Richard Shaefer's saying this fight is worth more than $53 million, Richard Shaefer is saying the fight is bigger than what I thought it was. This is also, Frank Warren had also said that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's fight was bigger than Anthony Joshua's last fight. So now that is Frank Warren that said it. It's Richard Shaefer that said it. The report that we gave that Stinger, and I'm honestly, man, Stinger, cat from UK, came to my channel because I put that video on hold because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to delete the video. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for somebody else who you guys will believe to come out with that report. Now, never mind that there is that when Deontay Wilder, when Boxing Scene released the pay-per-view numbers for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury based on a rumor, you're okay to take that. You phony dudes are willing to run with that. You're willing to run with the rumor of the pay-per-view numbers out of the United States at 325,000. But we'll go through any length to deny an actual numbers that I can point to you on Barb that say 220, that say the 227,000 that Richard Shaefer also said that he heard. Now, I like my channel, but let's be honest. I doubt very much that Richard Shaefer got those numbers from me. I'm pretty sure that Richard Shaefer got those numbers from people that were knowledgeable of what the numbers actually were. Now, could it have been less than 227,000? I don't know, or the 700 plus thousand. Could it be less? It could be. Right? Just like the numbers for Anthony Joshua on Barb could be less for Anthony Joshua. Because, again, Sky Sports for Anthony Joshua does not release those numbers. Doesn't release them. So we don't know whether those, as a matter of fact, actually we do know that the numbers for Anthony Joshua, all the pay-per-views that they have listed for Sky Sports are inaccurate. But yet AJ fans, UK fans that want to trash Deontay Wilder are okay with running with it. You're perfectly okay running with it. But when there are numbers given out from the same Barb, go through all kind of mechanisms and to say that, oh, no, that can't possibly be true. Even though the argument that Tyson Fury but at the same time make an argument that Tyson Fury is responsible for the 325,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States. You believe that based on the fact that Tyson Fury stood behind a pole and jumped out at some pregnant lady pushing her cart and asked her if she knew who Deontay Wilder was. She says no. And now you believe Tyson Fury is the reason that it did 325,000 pay-per-view. Aside from the issue that you even believe it just did 325,000 pay-per-view. Look, man, I don't know what for sure the numbers are for Deontay Wilder's pay-per-views. I do not know for sure what the numbers are for Anthony Joshua's pay-per-views. But I know this. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn are acting mighty, mighty funny over there, trying to act as if they want to make a fight with Deontay Wilder. And we'll see what happens with it. But for the people who wanted to know why I put that video on pause and why, by the way, that video is going to get unpaused, is because when you tell me something like those numbers can't be real on Barb, and I know that Barb numbers previously had not been accurate, I'll be okay putting that video on pause and saying, you know what, I'll unlist this video and I'll re-release it when I can verify that those numbers are accurate or when I feel comfortable that that is an okay number to give. Now that Richard Shaefer said that he knows of those reports, I will edit. I'm not going to edit the video, but I'm going to put out there. And thank you, Stinger. That's why I said, dude, thanks. The Stinger's like, man, I feel bad. Why did you take the video down? I didn't take the video down. I unlisted the video because I was waiting. Because this is how it works in the world. Eventually, those numbers are going to come out. The reason why those numbers aren't getting pushed in the United States and those pay-per-view numbers, I believe, for Tyson Fury weren't put out early is because there's no American media that have something in their interest to release it. Right? They don't have it. It's not in their interest, or somebody hadn't given them a reason to release that. For some reason, people want to make it seem as if Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury was a minor success. But I've experienced that with the PBC for the entire time that they've been there. Just like the most important event in boxing. Shout out to Barbershop Conversations and shout out to Richard Shaefer. For him quoting Richard Shaefer, said the biggest thing that happened in boxing last year was the Fox deal. That Fox, which is basically free TV, it comes with your cable package just like CBS or NBC, is now televising boxing and paying licensing fees for it. But do you hear that being represented like that in the boxing media? No, you don't. Just like you don't have the boxing media representing American fighters to the same extent that they do the fighters that the promoters want you to push. But anyway, man, it is what it is. Shout out to Stinger. If you want to argue about my Barb numbers and all that, now go argue with Richard Shaefer. and tell me that Richard Shaefer doesn't have access or he's somebody who has a track record of not telling the truth. Richard Shaefer said that Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder was a bigger fight than financially than any fight Anthony Joshua ever had. That is a quote from him. Now, go tell me that he shouldn't know what he's talking about. But yet, you'll believe another promoter in Eddie, a promoter who has but you'll believe Eddie Hearn in whatever Eddie Hearn says. Anyway, it is what it is. There you go. Shout out to Barbershop Conversations, and I'm out. Peace.